a right to go off like that, Max?
Absolutely not. That's absurd. Nothing against Bill O'Brien personally, but Coach, there are as many losses as wins in the league every single year for the history of the game. There must necessarily be as many wins as losses. Is it hard to win? Yeah, Coach, but some coaches are better at it than others, period. Like, if you have value as a coach, you bring that, you're judged against your peers, the 31 other head coaches in the league. Some of them are better at winning than others. There are 50% of the game's worth of wins to go around, and you get fewer of them than most guys. It's hard for everyone, but they're better at it than you, period. If you were an NBA coach, you know what you would think? The hardest thing in the world in professional sports is to win an NBA game because they are the exact same number of those wins to go around as losses. And if you did in the NBA what you do in the NFL, you'd have fewer of them than others. Bill O'Brien has not shown an ability as a head coach to make a team better than the sum of their parts. Coach, I'm not saying it's easy. Coach, I'm not saying you're not one of the best 32 coaches in the world. You very well may be. But by the standards, which are very high, we understand, of NFL coaches, they're the bell curve over here on the far right end. They're the really good ones. Then there are a bunch of guys in the middle. And then there are ones that are not so good. And right now, the category that you fall into are the not-so-good ones. That's the way it is. You're being judged at the highest standards in the world, and you're failing to meet those standards.
You know what? You're right, and it's not a debatable item because we don't disagree, but I'm just going to articulate it from a different perspective. Bill O'Brien, I've always been a fan of him from the standpoint that he's no nonsense. He comes across as very candid. He was the one that once got nose-to-nose and challenged Tom Brady and had to be restrained. He wasn't taking any crap from Tom Brady on the sidelines during one game, and I really respect that. But the flip side to it is that when I listened to Bill O'Brien talk yesterday, I looked at Bill O'Brien as an individual that didn't want to be held to the standards that ultimately got him the job. He actually did a damn good job at Penn State as a head coach. He actually did a damn good job as coordinator in New England. The reality is that as a head coach, his record is 35-36 with the Houston Texans. He's never won double-digit games. He had a 4-12 losing season last year. The best he's ever been able to do is a 9-7 record back-to-back years, and that's about it. Now, to me, there's nothing great about that. Obviously, you haven't even won 50% of the games that you have coached, and we understand that. But my point is that Bill Parcells once said, you are what your record says you are. And it's like Bill O'Brien doesn't want us to acknowledge that, you know what, you are what your record says you are. And in the end, he's going to have to make amends for that. He's going to have to deal with that reality because the bottom line is that you look at him and he's supposed to be this quarterback guru and everything else. And we've watched Deshaun Watson sometimes, who we all believe in. And what it comes down to is that regardless of what way we want to slice it, and Houston is a respectable team, and J.J. Watt should win Defensive Player of the Year award if he keeps playing the way that he's playing. The reality is that you look at Bill O'Brien and you said, I expected better. It's not that he's awful, but you did expect better from him than what you have received since he has been head coach of the Houston Texans.
Bill O'Brien is absolutely correct. It is very, very difficult to play in this league. You think about it, right? You game plan all week long for the chance that the team is going to run the same plays that you saw on film the weeks prior, and they can come out and change up everything that you've seen, and now you have to midstream adjust and figure out how you're going to beat this team. You have to battle injuries. You have to battle quarterback play. You have to manage your defense. It is very difficult to win in this league. So whether Bill O'Brien's record indicates who he is or how he is or what type of coach he is individually, what he's saying isn't false. It is hard to win in this league. In 2011, when we won the Super Bowl, we lost 6 straight games. And then we went on a tear and whatever the case may be. But those 6 games, we were looking around, scratching our heads like, how are we going to right this ship? How are we going to figure this out? And Bill O'Brien is absolutely correct. It is very, very difficult to win in this league. I mean, ask the Giants this year, obviously. Ask certain teams around the league that don't have winning records or teams that have lost games by a margin so small, or a field goal or things like that. It's hard to win in this league. Things have to go right for you throughout the course of a football game in order for you to win. So Bill O'Brien, what he's saying is absolutely correct. It is difficult to win games
More
in this
difficult
league.
for some than others.
Exactly. Obviously, the New England Patriots are an anomaly. They make it look so easy that Bill O'Brien's comments almost look negated at this point.